Have you ever stopped to think that perhaps the greatest enemy in your life isn't a lack of time, nor a lack of discipline, but something that's inside you right now? The truth is harsh. The dark side of dopamine is draining you without you realizing it. It gives you small, quick rewards while silently stealing your energy, your focus, and little by little, your dreams. If you feel like you're always tired, always distracted, or always putting off what really matters, it's not weakness. It's an invisible hijacking happening inside your own brain, and that's exactly what almost no one has the courage to explain to you. But today, you're going to see what's behind this cycle, and most importantly, how to regain control before it steals even more from your life. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you feel the urge to pick up your phone for no real reason? This isn't lack of discipline. It's just your brain following a very old impulse. Dopamine isn't pleasure, as many people say. It's the signal that makes you reach for something. It's that almost there feeling, like when you're waiting for an important message or about to open a gift. In our ancestors' time, this made sense. It pushed people to seek food, shelter, and security. Today, this same mechanism triggers when you see a red notification icon. The brain still operates with an old logic in a modern world. And when you understand this, you begin to realize that nothing you feel is weakness. It's just biology working on autopilot, and that's precisely the first step to regaining control. If you observe your day for 5 minutes, you'll realize that dopamine is everywhere. It's what makes you open your phone before you even remember what you were going to do. It's what makes your brain chase after anything quick that seems rewarding. But here's the point. Your brain wasn't updated to handle so much vying for your attention. It reacts to short videos and notifications with the same intensity that your ancestors reacted to the sound of an animal in the woods. It's like having a fire alarm that goes off even when someone lights a candle. Therefore, it's no surprise that you feel like you're always switched on, always thinking about what comes next. When you understand this mechanism, you stop blaming yourself, and you start to be able to reprogram your mind to work with you, not against you. This is where a smart detox starts to make sense. And there's another important thing. The brain doesn't want what's best for you. It wants what's easiest. That's why opening an app seems much more natural than opening a book that could truly transform you. It's not a lack of willpower. It's your internal system choosing the path that saves energy. But this easy path, when repeated every day, creates a silent feeling of stagnation. You feel like you're always busy, but never moving forward. It's like running on a treadmill thinking you're going far. The good news is that when you understand the reason behind this, you stop fighting against yourself. You start adjusting small details of your environment, and that changes everything. But what comes next is even more important. Understanding how this same dopamine can become a trap you don't even realize you've fallen into. If you've ever felt like you've lost hours without realizing it scrolling through your feed, it wasn't a lack of control. It was your brain falling into a hacked mechanism. Social media, games, pornography, ultra-processed foods, all of this was created to trigger the same search system that made our ancestors pursue food or shelter. Only now, instead of a real goal, you receive small, empty, repetitive, and overly easy rewards. And the easier it is, the more the brain wants. It's as if each notification says just 1 more minute, but 1 minute becomes 10, then half an hour, and when you realize it, the whole night is gone. It's not your fault, it's engineering. And the more this happens, the more your mind starts living in function of the next stimulus. The problem is that this constant consumption creates tolerance. What once gave you a little pleasure now barely affects you. And then the brain asks for more. More videos, more speed, more intensity, and the more it asks, the less it can satisfy itself. It's like trying to quench your thirst by drinking salt water. You drink, but your mouth remains dry. And the scariest thing is that this cycle becomes routine without the person realizing. They feel a strange emptiness when they're not on their phone. They become restless. They open apps for no reason. Not because they want to, but because the brain has learned to depend on these micro-stimuli. And this begins to wear down real motivation, the kind that drives projects, dreams, and plans. You even know what you should be doing, but something pulls your attention away all the time. And the cycle is always the same. Desire, reward, dissatisfaction, greater desire. It's like chasing something you never fully reach. Have you noticed how nothing seems to be enough? You watch a video and want another. You eat something and want more. You buy something and it quickly loses its appeal. This constant emptiness isn't a lack of purpose. It's the effect of a saturated reward system trying to recalibrate itself. And the more a person ignores this, the more they feel they are wasting time, focus, and life. This is the dark side of dopamine. It doesn't imprison you forcefully. It imprisons you comfortably. And when you wake up, you realize you're far from where you wanted to be. But understanding this is the first step to breaking the cycle. And in the next point, this becomes even clearer. If you find it difficult to focus on any task that's even slightly longer, it's not because you're not good at it. It's a silent symptom of overstimulation. Your brain gets so used to quick rewards that normal activities start to seem too slow, too boring, too burdensome. Reading 2 pages of a book becomes a challenge. Watching a 20-minute lecture feels like a marathon. Working on something deep leaves you restless in seconds, and you start to wonder, why can't I do it like I used to? But in fact, you can. It's just that your brain is conditioned to constant peaks, like someone trying to hear a whisper after hours of listening to loud music. You can't blame the brain, but you can retrain it. And perhaps you've already felt something else, that mild, almost imperceptible anxiety when there's no quick stimulus nearby. The silence starts to bother you. Your mind becomes restless. A feeling of emptiness appears. It's the same discomfort that makes you pick up your phone in the middle of a conversation, or while waiting for an elevator, or even during lunch. Not because you really want to see something, but because your brain can't do without a mini reward. And this creates a dangerous behavior, starting several projects with enthusiasm and abandoning them all halfway through. You get stuck in a cycle of excitement followed by boredom. Nothing holds your attention for very long, and this doesn't mean you're lazy. It means your brain is screaming for increasingly faster stimuli. Over time, even simple things begin to lose their flavor. A person can no longer enjoy a peaceful breakfast, a quiet walk, a conversation without distraction. Everything seems somewhat dull, somewhat lifeless. And here comes a phrase that hurts, but liberates. If you can't be alone with your own thoughts, something is out of place. Not because you are weak, but because your brain has been trained not to deal with its own mind. Nobody told you this, but this is one of the most dangerous signs, when your peace becomes noise, and it is precisely at this point that many lives begin to stall. But understanding these signs is what prepares the ground for something bigger. Realizing that dopamine not only creates symptoms, it hijacks entire dreams without you noticing. Have you noticed how your biggest goals always seem to be for next year? It's no coincidence. The pursuit of quick gratification robs you of your ability to sustain effort. When the brain gets used to small, instant rewards, it starts rejecting anything that takes time to produce results, even if it's something you really want. That's why so many dreams starve while distractions are fed every day. Dopamine creates a deceptive shortcut. It offers immediate comfort instead of profound achievement. And without realizing it, you trade hours of building for minutes of relief. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you human, but it also makes you vulnerable. The enemy of self-discipline is rarely something big. It's almost always those crumbs of pleasure you accept without realizing it. One video, then another, then a little more. And before you know it, the day has slipped through your fingers. It's like trying to build a house while someone else is making tiny holes in your bucket of cement. You work, but you never progress at the pace you'd like. And the worst part is that you know exactly what you need to do. You just don't feel like it. Not because the dream has lost its value, but because your brain has started to prefer cheap rewards. It's the exchange of what I want most for what I want now. And this is a silent type of neurochemical self-sabotage. The most painful thing is realizing that, many times, you were just a few steps away from a significant breakthrough, but were pulled back by meaningless distractions. How many opportunities have you missed because you couldn't stay present? How many incredible ideas have you let die because something faster caught your attention? That's how dopamine hijacks dreams, not by taking them away from you, but by offering shortcuts that take you off course. And it's only when you recognize this mechanism that things start to change, because just as excess holds you back, there's a practical way to use this system to your advantage. The first thing you need to understand is simple. You don't regain control by fighting your brain, you regain it, adjusting the environment, and this starts by reducing what I call cheap dopamine, excessive social media, notifications, digital addictions, and quick stimuli. You don't need to become a monk or throw your phone away, just reorganize. Remove apps from your home screen, limit usage time, and put your phone away when you're working. Small changes, big results. That's already a well-done detox. It's not punishment, it's strategy. Because the goal isn't to cut everything out, it's to regain mental breath. And when you do that, something curious happens. Tasks that previously seemed burdensome begin to feel lighter. Creating long-term challenges is like teaching your brain to enjoy effort. If you truly want to regain control, you need to give your brain a new direction. Simple routines, regular sleep, exercise, deep reading, short meditation make more of a difference than they seem. And it's not about military discipline, it's about minimal consistency. For example, 10 pages of a book a day already begins to reprogram your attention pattern. A 20-minute workout already changes your mood. A silent walk already reorganizes your thoughts. When you transform these activities into small internal rewards, the brain starts working in your favor again. It learns that effort also brings pleasure, only a more solid pleasure. And there's a step that almost no one talks about, but it's essential: making discomfort your ally. Every change begins precisely at the point where your brain tries to make you give up. That's where you train your mind. When you replace an addiction with a purposeful habit, you're not losing something. You're making space to regain your clarity, your focus, and your energy. And the more you repeat this, the easier it becomes to stay on the right path. Little by little, you realize you're making decisions that previously seemed impossible. And from the moment you feel that control returning to your life, something begins to awaken within you and prepares the ground for what comes next. Because change doesn't begin when everything changes, but when you change first. If you've made it this far, that already says a lot about you. Most people give up at the beginning, close the video, get distracted, forget. But not you. You stayed. This means that something inside you has already awakened. Perhaps a discomfort, perhaps a calling, perhaps that feeling of, I need to change now. No matter the reason, the fact is that the first step has already happened. The simple act of continuing to listen to this content is already beginning to reprogram your brain to seek something different. And this awareness is not insignificant. It is powerful, because no transformation begins with force. It begins with clarity. And what you might not realize is that small victories are already emerging, even if you don't notice them yet. You know that urge to check your phone all the time. It may not have disappeared, but now you understand why it exists. That already changes everything. You know that guilt for not being able to focus. Now you know it's not your fault. It's a cycle that can be broken. And this understanding takes a huge weight off your shoulders. Every time you choose to keep going, even with distractions trying to pull you back, you strengthen exactly the part of your mind that will take you further. It's as if, little by little, you're teaching your brain to trust you again. And the truth is simple. Great transformations begin like this. Small, almost invisible, but consistent. Change doesn't shout, it whispers, and you're hearing that whisper now. What's happening inside you isn't fleeting motivation. It's building. And each small step forward, each slightly more conscious decision, accumulates strength. This is where new habits, new cycles, new results are born. You don't need to change everything, you just need to keep going. Because what comes next isn't just knowledge, it's how you're going to transform that into real action. Ultimately, everything you've seen here is only worthwhile if it translates into action. So honestly, look at your life now. How much energy, focus, and clarity have you already lost by falling into cycles of distraction that lead you nowhere? And how long will you allow this to continue draining important parts of who you want to be? The question is simple, but powerful. What are you going to change starting today? And if you feel that the problem isn't just a lack of focus, but that feeling of not being able to act even when you know what you need to do, I've left a video here on the end screen that will help you with exactly that. Just click and watch. It will show you how to unlock action, how to work even without motivation, and how to recover the internal drive that unregulated dopamine has been gradually extinguishing. Truly, this could be the most important next step you take after this video. Before you go there, comment below. What will be your first move to make a change today? And of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep evolving with me. There's still a lot more that will help you turn the game around, and you won't want to miss it.